Hey guys, Sam here, and welcome back to a brand new Pokemon Duel video. This is going to be a longer video than yesterday because this is going to be a pretty annoying fucking match. I hate this deck with a passion. Double Swamperts and Mega Swamperts are, not a great counter to the Ultra Beasts, but still it's going to be one of the most annoying things you can have in the entire, game. So, what happens here? I open, I do the standard opening that you have seen so far with my Tapu Koko, Nihilego, Formosa, and the Ampharos, and I go for the Celesteela into the Rhyperior. Looking back at it now, it wasn't that great of an idea because if it gets a double spin into the white attack, which I think it's a rollout, or I'm not really sure what it is. The 100 thing that can spin, that's really not going to be that great. So he decides to attack my Tapu Koko. I thankfully have a wonderful, fully equipped or fully upgraded blue. We land blue on blue, so that didn't really do anything. I want to go for my Rendezvous right here, obviously to get rid of that thing, because as the least amount of figures we have to deal with this annoying-ass fucking deck, that's going to be the better. And once again, we land the blue into the blue, so nothing is really going to happen. Gets the Bulldozer, and now I am 2 spaces away from where I started. I mean, not really that bad, but, still, I wouldn't really want to do that. He gets the Tractor here, however, and remember that is going to be the opposite as the Bulldozer, where you can get pulled, 1 space away from where you were. So I go for the Pheromosa right here just because I want to bait the Swampert into getting a little bit closer. See what can happen right here. I thankfully get the dodge. Now the Swampert into the Pheromosa is going to be a really bad matchup. There's not a lot of things that you can do. So what I do here is that I go for the double surround because I really don't want the Rhyperior getting close to my goal, even if it can have the even if you have a lot of figures defending your goal, it can still be, pretty bad. So I decide to unfreeze my Pheromosa, and since I have the Celesteela into the Ultra Space, now they have 3 MP. I go for the Call Signal right here, hopefully landing my blue. I thankfully get it, and I put the Celesteela right there just to surround that annoying-ass fucking Swampert. Now this is looking super good for me right now, because obviously both of the Swamperts are the biggest threat on the entire deck, and if you have them off of the field, there's obviously not a lot of things that can go wrong for you. Unless you have the Rhyperior and these fucking bullshit, what do you call them? The Tapu Fini. So, not really a lot I can do. Now, the Rhyperior here, spoiler alert, it doesn't go down after this. I'm pretty sad. I never really land anything that I want, so that's, really bullshit. He gets the Bulldozer again. If you want to count how many times he has gotten it, right now I think it's been like 4 or 5. So the Tapu Fini jumps over for to cap my my entry space. I'm like, but please, Rhyperior, land something other than your fucking blue. He decides to go for the switch, and now the Rhyperior has 2 MP because of Swampert's passive. I really don't want that. So what happens here is he goes for the Pheromosa with the Swampert. I really don't have a lot to do right now, so I decide to burn the Mighty Sphere just so I can hopefully get some cheesy surrounds. And right now the Celesteela can't really throw anything to surround any of the enemy figures, so I'm actually feeling a little bit sad. Let's see, so he gets the Hammer Arm. I freeze him, which is really not going to do a lot. He has figures close by, especially the Rhyperior, which is going to make this a little bit annoying. I kind of want to go for wide attack. Unluckily, I didn't get it. So I think right here, no, never mind. He doesn't use a Swampert right there. So I get kind of unlucky with this. He gets a Tractor, and I believe I get a wait from that, because since you can't move, that's obviously not going to be the best idea. He decides to go for the Surround, which, I'm not really feeling too bad about it. I, however, want to activate my my Celesteela's passive, so I can surround the Tapu Fini to hopefully get something off the field. He gets the Bulldozer once again. Spoiler alert, this is like I already told you. So this is not looking bad. I mean, this is okay, stutter. this is not looking good for me, so I decide to go for my Ampharocytes to bring something back, because if I put my regular Ampharos in there, with the luck I've been having this game, I am really not going to survive a single more turn. So he decides to back off. I go for the Tapu Koko here, and I'm like, okay, please, what the hell do I do right now? I'm feeling so, impotent to do something, useful here. So I go for the best, one of the best things that I could potentially do, which is go for the, what do you call it, the Tapu Fini. The 80 was actually pretty good, but, I didn't actually get anything useful. Feeling pretty bad about this right now, but let's see what goes on right now. He goes for the Pheromosa once again. Now, right up to this point, he hasn't used any of the Swamperites because, I'm not really sure. Now, I win this. Okay, kind of a spoiler alert. I win this because my opponent was way worse than me. And, okay, thankfully, I didn't actually remember that because, it was getting to the point where I was, like, not really expecting anything other than Bulldozer from the Rhyperior. So I'm like, peace. Alright, see what happens here. He goes for the Swampert, and like I said before, up to this point he hasn't really used the Mega Swampert plates. And I'm getting pretty scared because the later he gets into the game, the cheesier things the Mega Swampert can do if you don't, get it under control. So right now I'm like, please do something useful. Now he decides to use one of the Mega Swampert plates right here just to go for my entry space. And this is actually a pretty good play. Oh man, I'm getting, getting kind of frustrated looking at this once again. So I decide to cover with my Nihilego, just kind of get a little defense going. I go for the Amphro. I'm not really sure why I do this, but, thankfully, or I guess not thankfully, it didn't actually work in my favor. I get sent there, he gets the one weight, it doesn't actually matter, he gets paralyzed, there's nothing that you can do, against that. I decide to go for the Lung Throw with my Pheromosa because if I get the Ice Beam, I could, potentially do something a little bit useful. Here I am counting on my on my Nihilego to land something, other than the miss, which, obviously doesn't happen. He gets the Muddy Water. Sorry, I've been narrating for like 20 minutes, and my throat is actually not cooperating with me. So what happens here is that, I just kind of start moving back and forth, hopefully to get some of that nice and sick RNG that I'm, that I've been waiting for so long. And right now, I don't really have a lot of options. Now, I'm not really sure why he isn't moving the Magikarp towards my my goal. I mean, if you have if you have 3 figures like this, if you have a 3-on-3, that's, already bad enough. Now, here is where it gets interesting. He lands 1 Pony Wish. He doesn't get rid of anything, which would have been, one of the best options that you can have. He lands another Pony Wish that he could potentially use to get rid of either the Celesteela or the Nihilego. Well, I could potentially go for either the Celesteela or the Pheromosa because the less things that you can have on the field that can bring things from the Ultra Space, that's going to be even better. Thankfully, I get a really nice roll. I get my White Tentacles into the Dazzling Gleam. So I'm like, okay, so 1 less threat off the field. Please, please, please land something good. He gets another bad roll. Ice Beam into the miss. Even if he KO'd me, that would have been great, because obviously, that entry space would have been free, and I would have kept that figure hostage right there. So I'm like, okay, so what do I do right here? I can't actually go, to the right, since I can't get past the Tapu Fini, so that's pretty sad. I'm like, oh man, what do I do? So here I'm just stalling for time, because if I remember correctly, I was up in time, and honestly, this was getting really annoying, and I was like, okay, so I can hopefully get a weight win, and I don't really have to, to do anything other than that. So here he gets a -1 because the Swampert's still, is still on the field. He gets the, the passive right here, and and the figure is still plus, well, 1 regular MP. Okay, so I decide to go for the defense right here. He goes for the Rhyperior, and he doesn't decide to attack. Here, however, I go for the, for the double chance. I really, really want to get the Rendezvous into anything other than the fucking blue. I swear, other than the Swamperts, the Rhyperior was the MVP of this fucking match, dude. It's unreal. He, however, gets to, go back for the entry space, pretty smart, otherwise I was going to surround that bitch. I get the call signal. There's really nothing that I have in the Ultra Space, so that's really not that useful. And I'm like, okay, so please land something, dude, please. Nothing is being done about it. So what happens here is that he gets the Pony Wish. Is he going to use it now? Peace! Okay, so this is looking horrible. Horrible for me. He gets a, you know, because the Tapu Fini isn't there anymore, the Rhyperior is going to get that 0 MP, and it's basically useless. However, because of the Mega Swampert, he gets it once again, and I am super sad. This is basically what won me the game. If that didn't happen, that would have been game fucking over. Yes, spoiler alert, I win this game. So, okay, what happens here? He gets a tractor, he decides to go right there. I have to cover the goal. I just have to cover the goal. Otherwise, you know, because the Swampert can go under the figures, you know, I actually do that, so that's pretty sad. He goes for the Tapu Koko once again. I get the miss. I am feeling so fucking sad right now. Anyway, he gets the Earthquake, and what's gonna happen? Well, nothing really. Other than my Tapu Koko just leaving the field. So, this is the worst thing that has happened to me so far, and I go like, okay, what do I do? The Swampert is going to be gone, and now, because of the passive, is gone. It has 1 MP. There's nothing on the field that can actually get to, you know, the goal, and because of the Nihilego, you know, because the Nihilego has a big fat blue, it can actually not do a lot of things. You know, the Swampert, that is. So I'm like, okay, what do I do here? I start to, you know, go for the cheeky goal. I go like, okay, please, please. This is already game fucking over. What happens is I go for the Pheromosa, and this guy is complete, you know, is basically kind of a noob. At 3200, you know, that's kind of what you expect. So no matter what happens here, I get the win. And this was a pretty stressful match, but, you know, still had a lot of fun with it. And hopefully you guys learned a little bit from it. So that's pretty nice. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. Before I run out of footage, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.